And to follow, may I invite the gorgeous Amanda Lee Ko, who is, who edits fiction for Esquire Singapore, edits postcode.sg, co-edited Eastern Heathens, and has a new book of her short stories coming out in September, what? in this November, hopefully at Singapore Writers Festival, titled The Ministry of Moral Panic. At first, we'd been thinking of reading a short story from Eastern Heathens, her delightful story, Siren. But Amanda tells me that she has a work in progress that she would like to share.
Well, yes, as with June, I would like to have this disclaimer in which it's extremely unresolved. And Ishan, could I get you to be it's extremely tiny print because I accidentally clicked
if you want, Ishan,
I
get to take off. It's not easy having like Tupperwares on your black shades in your
Well, but you're gonna get to be a Korean Android domestic helper.
Oh, okay,
so
right.
you might need one of those or something. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I apologize for the unresolvedness, but it is what it is. It goes this way. As in if you want to hold it. Here.
What looks more Android-like? Can someone drive this? Okay, I know. Android it.
Unfortunately, we are not Japanese in the story, but
Android stream of electric convulsions.
This is like an anti-corset. Okay, yes.
Okay, so you will know it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the font tiny? We'll have to straighten.
All right. Yes, I shall channel, Marigita, Pondan's, super senses for this, and cue me when you want.
Okay. Okay, so this one is called Purity for Androids. Hiyori, will you go on a date with me? I do this sometimes for kids. Ask her questions I think she isn't wired to answer. Say things outside of her sphere of understanding. She tells me she'll sleep on it, but I know what she means is that she'll consult the ethical handbook for robot-human interaction. She's ashamed of it, having to go to a book. I offered to set fire to it once, and she said,
You can't do that. It's our equivalent of the Holy Bible.
some religious people turn their backs on their beliefs too.
I'm not a religious person. I'm an android. It isn't my belief. It is my being.
You sound like a nun.
Kara,
She says the next morning as she brings me ready eggs.
I brought you up. I don't think I can go on a date with you. Salam.
She used to say, being manufactured in Korea, but I looked it up. Ma Cherry, Kara, Mina Liba. I didn't want her calling me the same thing as she could and would anyone else, so I taught her something new. If we have to decommission you one day, you are not allowed to call anyone else Kara, okay?
Okay, Kara.
Fury, I was only kidding. You take everything way too seriously.
Kara, you do know that there are some things that can't be programmed. Irony and sarcasm elude me. It says so in my user manual.
There used to be pictures of me packed up in Hiyori's room, taken with her InVision scanning device over the years. Swaddled in pain blankets as an infant, mouth outstretched in the screen. Close-ups of bad grazes on my knees from where I fell in the gravel, trying out my new skates. My face in my hands when the call came to tell us Grandma died. Hiyori, people don't make pictures of sad times and bad days. She looked at me concerned.
Why?
People want to be happy.
But I want you to be happy. And I want to be happy too.
And why do you make these pictures? She was hesitating, rotating her head from right to left and back again, pretending to stretch bones and muscles she didn't have.
When I see you sad, I feel something that isn't in my manual.
What is it? She spelled something in the air with a finger. I tried to read it aloud, letter by letter, and she shushed me.
I'm not supposed to feel it.
She whispered.
They wrote it out of our systems so we wouldn't feel too much for humans.
EMPATHY. Empathy. She takes down the photos and shreds them into perfect little strips with her hands. Yuri, will you let me practice French kissing with you?
Kara, you know we can't have relations with our masters and charges. And what would your parents think anyway?
I'm not asking you to kiss me for real. I just want to practice.
For what?
For when I meet a boy I want to kiss. She considers this. Sometimes I can hear her brain tick.
I suppose that would be okay.
She says, looking out the window, then back at me. Her movement's fluid as always.
I don't have a real tongue, though. You know that, right, Kara?
At 13, I am shorter than Yuri. She inclines her head. She is 160 centimeters and 50 kg, the height and weight of an average Korean woman in her mid-20s. Her tongue is hard, pliable in a limited number of ways. Our arms hang by our sides, limp. When I raise mine to hold her face, the way I've seen in movies, her eyes fly open. Later, as she walks me to the subway, slinging my school bag across her slim shoulders, she tells me her tongue was designed to be able to speak Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, English, and Cantonese. If she were model XXR, her tongue would be shaped differently, would be slightly more flexible, able to speak French, German, Russian, Spanish, Italian.
Does that make them better kissers? You were not made for kissing.
She says. I laugh and she turns to me seriously.
Well, they do have larger eyes, higher nose bridges, fuller lips, taller frames, and bigger breasts.
Yuri, are you jealous of model XXR?
No,
Why not?
because if I were model XXR, I would have been shipped to those markets, and I wouldn't have met you.
But Yuri, you didn't choose me. If you belonged to someone else, if you had to take care of someone else, you would love them the same. You're programmed for it.
I do know that, but I'm still glad.
As we cross the road, she turns to me.
Aren't you?
When I start growing hair proper under my arms and my crotch, I bemoan them. Yuri, can you go learn how to wax? A week later, she came to me with a towel and a vat of wax. She already knew how to execute perfect French manicures, from when my mother still kept up appearances, and chiropractic, which my father still requested whenever he had the time. I lay still as she spread the hot wax over me, and didn't flinch when she peeled it off swiftly. When I got home that night, there was a wax sculpture of a sparrow streaked through with my pubic hair on my stencil.
I reheated the wax and molded it, Kara.
She said, Yuri, that's gross!
Really? Isn't it like handmade Korean gift paper? Flower petals in them? I don't evolve.
Yuri said slowly.
My nails and hair don't grow, and I can't slough off dead skin. I just didn't want to throw away something that came from your body. It's the gift.
Yuri, shit comes from my body too. Yuri, today at school you learned about sexual reproduction. Yuri nods.
We understand that.
She says. What do you have down there?
We don't have the same parts, of course. We have no need for them.
So you can't feel there?
We have no need to feel there, Kara.
But can you?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It never occurred to me to try.
We are silent. Then I slip my fingers under my skirt and into myself, moving till I feel that hot rush, halting with my lips apart because it feels like the right thing to do when someone is watching. Yuri watches as if it is a magic trick, and then she reaches out with slim fingers, those squared nails that won't ever have to clip. I stop short, and then I let her in.
Kara,
She whispers as her cold fingers enter me.
oh Kara, you feel so alive.
After touching me, Yuri changes. She cares for me and keeps a clean house, but she's quieter. She used to love to talk, but she begins answering me in monosyllables. She enjoyed making little crafty things in her spare time, Little trinkets she would present to me or leave on my study table, but now she goes to her room or presses deeper iron creases into my father's work shirts. She waters the plants with such frequency that some begin to die from the excessive moisture. One night, I pass her room and look in from a crack. Curie is removing her clothes and underwear. Her body is perfect, modestly proportioned, lit by the nightlight. She has crests for breasts, but no nipples. Between her legs, she has a little mound with no further detail, no pubic hair. Curie towels herself off with a pink terry cloth and changes into a new set of underwear, puts on her nightgown. She lies in bed, places her pillow between her legs, and strains against it. After a while, she stops and turns to the ethical handbook on her nightstand. She begins wiping her cheeks and the corners of her eyes, although they are dry, as if she could cry. Thank you.